last week on Saturday, somebody made a post on Facebook to a group that I follow, and they said, besides real estate, what are your hobbies? Or maybe it was, I'll have to put the link in here. And I just said, that's a great question as my response. And then later, a whole bunch of people responded saying they liked horses and ponies and cars and hanging out with their families, and I like all those kind of things. I don't know about the horses, but so somebody actually replied to me saying, answer the question. I mean, like, what do you do for fun, Eric? And I was thinking about how do I respond to that last night as I was laying in bed trying to fall asleep. And I don't have hobbies anymore. I've talked about that on here. A few weeks ago, we were talking about that. And sure, I love cars, and I love riding my bike on the weekend, and I love hanging out with my kids and all these things. But like, if you think about it this way, and this is how I actually responded to that post, is I actually found something that I love to do for work so much that I don't need another hobby. I don't think most people understand exactly what that is, because they have to go to work and they have to make a certain amount of income, and they went to school for it, or they went down that career path, and they don't get to choose what they do for fun. And that's why they have these extracurricular activities outside of work to keep their mind sharp and keep their mind engaged and thinking about other things, right? Going through the car wash right now. Hopefully you can hear me. It's super loud in here, but got the car loaded up with boxes. We are unloading our house. It's time to tear that sucker apart, and I'm on my way over to the storage unit that we have rented so we can store all of our stuff for the next few months. All right, it's getting super loud in here. Hold on a second. All right, so that's a little better. We are basically putting everything in our house into this 10 by 20 storage unit and living out of our family's granny flat. It's like a 1-bedroom studio apartment, the 5 of us, for like the next 3 or 4 months, hopefully. We're still trying to figure that out, but it's gonna be crazy. So I've got a bunch of stuff in this car. My wife's actually picking up my daughter from school right now, and she's got a bunch of stuff in her car, and we've got like a whole moving process. Literally, we've got to pack up the whole entire house, and we're just trying to bring over some little stuff right now because they're having like a garage sale this weekend, and it's kind of a good time to sell a bunch of stuff while we don't need it. Sorry, I'm trying to drive and talk at the same time. There's like crazy drivers out here. So we're basically backing up the whole house and trying to put it into the storage unit because in about 3 weeks, we're basically going to be gutting the sucker, and 3 to 4, depending on how fast the city is here. We're in the middle of getting HOA approval and city approval and just finalizing some details on our plans. But anyway, that's our home remodel. So I am bringing this car over with a bunch of stuff, and then it's a storage unit where I actually keep my Volkswagen bus. So right now we don't have a lot of room at our house to store stuff because it's a tiny packed house, and I have a Volkswagen bus, which you've probably seen in some of our videos, but I keep it out here in another city in the storage unit because I'd rather keep it indoors because it's like a 51-year-old, actually 52 this year, 52-year-old Volkswagen bus, and I keep it out there just because it's safe and I don't have to worry about getting broken into or stolen, and it's out of the sun and all that kind of stuff too. So I'm going to pick that up today, and it's basically like a 50-year-old Suburban, right? It's huge, it's got a lot of room in there. I can bring back and forth a lot of stuff. Might end up actually renting like a U-Haul eventually, but like we don't have that much stuff. It's just a small house and it's full, so it seems like a lot of stuff, but we've pared down a lot of things. So I hate moving. It's like the most non-fun, like it's good for working out and like you strengthen your muscles and all that kind of stuff, and it causes you to have less things because every time we move we throw away like half of our stuff, and we just moved in September into this new house. We just threw away and got rid of a lot of stuff, but here we are doing it again. The contractor who we're working with, he's awesome, and we were hoping that we could kind of stay in the house during this, like probably live in the garage kind of a thing like a lot of people do when they remodel their kitchen. But we're literally gutting almost every part of our house except for one bedroom. Eddie's like, there's not even going to be a working toilet, so you might want to go figure out somewhere else to stay. So it's just no fun, but we're going to have to do that. So it'll just be easier long run. It'll make it easier for the contractor. It'll be quicker for him. It'll be cleaner for my kids. So now I got to go find another place to work because like I said, we're staying in like a 1-bedroom studio type of thing. Like it's small. Like there's a refrigerator and a sink and a bathroom and a couch and a bed. And I have 3 girls, so it's going to be pretty tight. So I'm actually going to be renting some office space from a broker that I know here. Super awesome. Really appreciate you, Jessica. Thanks for letting me stay there when the time comes. So that's where I'm going to be working when we get to that point and closing down our home office here. I got to figure out like how to set up the green screen and do all that so we can keep our Facebook Friday and Ask Erik show going, because that's where the magic happens. Anyway, so I'm going to go pick up the car and maybe we'll get some footage of the bus. It is super loud in there, so I don't know if this whole type of thing is going to be able to work out, because it's loud and noisy and not super friendly for vlogging. So anyway, we'll get that figured out. I don't think that money can buy you happiness. And I know so many people say that, and I hate that that's where this conversation is going to go. Most guys who graduated from school in my degree were making like $45,000 to $50,000 a year. I had a few offers like that. But I ended up getting an offer and I took it for $66,000. And I was super stoked because it was like $20,000 more than what everybody else is making. And granted, it was in the Bay Area and it paid really well compared to some other areas. But I was super stoked about $66,000 because it was more money than I had been paid at any point in time, and so like it just blew out of the water like what I thought my time was worth. It was great. And so now like that became the new threshold for me. And then as I went on, I kept getting more pay raises and I would earn more money. And this was at, a normal job. This was not me being self-employed. And so later I ended up moving companies and I was at one point making over $100,000 a year at my job, which was fantastic. But the money wore off. And after doing this type of work for 4 or 5 years, some days were interesting, but most of the time I was not excited to show up to work. It was not what made me happy. My mind was not there. Like in a normal 10-hour workday, I was probably checked in there for 3 to 4, and my mind was doing something else the rest of the day. It was thinking about other things. It was trying to plan weekend activities. It was, what am I going to do at 5 o'clock when I get off work, or 7 o'clock, or whatever time it was. And it wasn't there. And so the money wasn't worth it for me anymore. And I didn't enjoy being there. And so here's the caveat. I didn't quit because I was too afraid to go out on my own at that point in time. And I was worried of how I was going to replace the money. I actually lost my job because the economy tanked. And it sucked. It was super hard to find work at that point in time. I mean, impossible. And I looked for like 6 months, couldn't find anything. Ended up traveling around for a little while with my wife, and we decided to get into real estate, and I started flipping houses after that. And that's what started my self-employment career and the day I became an entrepreneur. And it was the best day ever. But what I found out was that I was making a heck of a lot less money than that. My first year, I think we made like $42,000, like less than what I was making as a college graduate. And I wasn't doing anything that I learned in school. It was just something that I was trying to figure out. But I was so much more happy. I mean, we worked even more. Like my wife and I remember working 20-hour days. We were working together at that point in time. I just had a blast together. We would, before that, we would see each other a few hours at night, and that was it. And we'd see each other on the weekend, and then all day we were gone, But since then, back in 2009, we've worked together every single day since. And it's been fantastic for our relationship. So find what you love in this life and find a way to get paid to do it. And if it's less money than you're making right now, it'll probably work itself out. And maybe there's a way that you can make more money to make it work. And if you can't, meaning if you made $100,000 right now in your job and if you're going to quit, you might make $20,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 or less, right? And you can't live on that. You've built your life to this point where you have to have $100,000 a year life. your bills are too high and your expenses got too high and you're doing things that are causing your life to be so expensive. I guarantee that 80% of this country lives below $60,000 per year because there's a lot of affordable places to live. And maybe you don't want to move to one of these places, great, but that's your choice. I live in a super expensive area in Southern California. I guarantee I could find a way more affordable area to live. And I had to bust my butt to be able to afford to live here. But you could, if you really wanted to, give up a awesome location to go live somewhere else so that you can do something that you love every single day. So just think about the things in your life and the way that you're building your life. Is it a car that you drive that's making it expensive? Is it a house payment that you have? Is it, the fact that you have to put your kids in a private school because there's no great public school option in that area? What are you doing in your life that's causing you to have that type of a paycheck? And you're really just selling yourself for the things in this life that you want. So consider a reset. How can you step back? How can you cut some of your costs? How can you do something in your life that's going to bring you more joy? So that's my message for you this week, is money will not buy you happiness. Money does give you a lot of fun things in life, and it'll bring you a lot of joy temporarily, but someday those things will wear off, and someday they will not be enough. We've talked about that before, right? The watch, the car, the house, all those kind of things. They will eventually wear off, and you're going to need to do something else. So find the things that make you happy. Do a career, a life shift if you have to, but make it work. All right, so there's a massive bee in here. Check this thing out. It's huge. Like the size of a golf ball. I was driving along and the sound coming out. Look at this thing. Oh, he's massive. Like a flying cockroach. Oh, scared me. Come on, big bug. Get up. Go. Go. Fly away. Fly away. Need a stick. People watching, great places to eat, fun smells. There's a pizza place just checked out, which is called Knockout Pizza. I love that place. Anyway, there's a lot going on here. It's kind of a neat place to check out. If you're a tourist and you come to this town, you gotta stay near the beach. It's the only place to be. Alright guys, it's Friday afternoon. I've just been recording B-roll for the last couple hours and about to go meet a friend to go show a house for the next little bit, and then it's off to movie night with the family. So the vlog's been fun this week. It's definitely been like short little bits just because I've been busy with stuff. This week I taught a couple online classes, like webinar type things, and a couple consulting calls, and just been pretty slammed with some client work. So haven't had the chance to really like get in the car and record stuff. As you can see, we took the bus out this week, and we've been moving a bunch of stuff for our remodel that's coming up. So this van is great. It holds a ton of stuff back here, and I'm just waiting for our clients to show up. So I figured I'd spend a minute, talk to you guys, and see how you're doing, and just gonna give you some updates. Thinking about our vlog and recording it and the content that we share out there, it has nothing to do with marketing, and it's more of just helping you guys get to know more about who I am. I feel like I can share my life with you guys, and just, getting to know me, and I think that's what the vlog that you guys can produce is all about. I talked to an agent this morning. She's not a client, she's not really a lead, it was just happenstance that we talked, but she found out that I was in marketing, and we were talking about Instagram, and she's like, do you need 2 accounts, one for personal and one for your business, or can you just have 1 account, and what do you call it, right? And I was like, you always need 2 accounts. You need your business and you need your personal. And she's like, well, why do I need to do that? And I'm like, you always need to build your brand. You always need to, tell the story of who you are. It's 80% you and 20% business. And so if you've been following along in our vlog the last couple of weeks, I would encourage you to kind of mimic that same pattern, right? Like, don't just make it about real estate. You gotta introduce some human elements to it. Where do you like to eat? What do you like to do on the weekends? What do you do with your family? What do you do when you have a minute? Do you read? Do you watch Netflix? Do you go out to eat? Do you drive your old beastly car around? What is it that you do in your time off that makes you you? And I don't think that it needs to become the travel journal, of yourself, or necessarily the day-to-day, minute-by-minute kind of things, but I think that you can share enough of who you are so that people can connect with you. For example, I'm in my old 51-year-old bus, right? And while I've been parked here, I'm at the gas station right now, and I had to go get some air for the tires because it's been a while since we drove this thing. Every time I park this thing, I get a comment, I get a wave, I get a, hey, hang loose kind of thing. People love this thing, and it makes me me. I remember growing up when I was 16, I fell in love with these cars. We were at the beach one day going surfing, and these two guys rolled up. The one that I saw had a convertible top, and they pulled back the top, they cranked the music, and I'm sitting in my car like, oh man, that thing's awesome. I want to own one of those. So for the last 25, 30 years, I've loved these things. They've just been incredible to me, and now that I have one, I love it, and it's me. It makes me. It's unique, and so I like talking about it, and I like sharing it, and I like driving it because it starts the conversation. I go to old car shows with it. I take my daughters out on dates in it. During the summers, it's just my commute car. I love it, and it's fun because it has that interaction. And if I just made my life about business all the time, there wouldn't be that element, and you wouldn't get to know me. So find a way to share your own life. Find a way to to document who you are and what you do. Maybe it's not cars, and maybe it's not eating, and maybe it's not travel, maybe there's something else. Maybe you knit, or maybe you love Excel, or maybe you love to look at home flooring products. I don't know, whatever it is, be you, share your own content, and create your own life that people can connect to. Find little ways in your life to relate to other people, and it's going to have that instant bond. Our client tonight that I'm meeting with, he's a longtime friend, and I remember when he was 16, he actually had one of these vans himself, and that's how we made that connection a long time ago. So maybe you've got that own thing in your life that you can use to share and connect with people. Whatever it is, figure that out. But anyway, on this nice, sunny, kind of cloudy, humid day in April, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week and enjoying whatever it is that you're doing. Be safe out there, guys. So this is the end of this week's vlog, and I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Enjoy your weeks, whatever you're doing, and we'll see you